Buddy, are you ready? I'm holding. Good evening from the Tibet Center here in South Orange, New Jersey. So we shall begin by reciting the prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems, and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there, together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the Dharmas, called profound illumination. And at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, "How should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge?" And Avalokiteshvara answered, "Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form, form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor are there wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge, and since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear, they transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering, shading the truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed. Tadyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Then, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge.
Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi,
and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you are taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. Okay, now we generate bodhicitta. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Now we'll recite the rosary of Om Mani Padme Hum. Okay. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Om Mani Padme Hum. So, we've been discussing Beyond Religion, Ethics for a Whole World by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And I believe that we have reached the end of the chapter on patience, or we were discussing patience. Cultivating key inner values, patience and forbearance. And so page 142, 143. I want to come back on 142. There's a part of a sentence that reads, "Our own actions are only one factor in a great range of causes and conditions. Similarly, there are always many sides to any situation." And I feel that it's in our view of our situation in the world, we tend to see things very subjectively and view the challenges we face with that subjective point of view, feeling that we are the victim of whatever the problem is, and that somehow the problem is attacking us, or the person who's causing us difficulty is attacking us, and we see it in this one sort of meeting place, that person and me, or that situation and me, rather than recognizing the far broader quality of our situation, all the conditions, all the causes, all the past causes that bring about a situation. Do you have anything to say on this? No? So, I feel that this is a topic to consider in analytical meditation, as I keep talking about the things we should think of at the beginning of the day, and viewing the day as the fruition of, the culmination of a whole bunch of situations, circumstances, causes that bring about that moment when we are contemplating, and thereby assume a certain responsibility for the way we will behave in respect to all of these past causes and conditions that we are now going to face. We are facing the result of a whole series of things, and that complicated quality is something to consider, because that complicated quality suggests that things aren't the simple things that we think they are. Situations aren't the simple situations that we consider them to be. And so the example that His Holiness gives is, when therefore we suffer some misfortune, such as not getting the job we hoped for, it is worth considering that the same decision that disappointed us will have benefited someone else, perhaps someone in even greater need. Though not easy, such considerations can temper our sense of loss with some sympathetic joy at others' good fortune. At the same time, the simple act of moving the focus of our attention away from ourselves will have the effect of making the problem appear less unbearable. Now, that thought process in respect to a situation that we might feel frustrated about, we can either expect ourselves to react in this new, wise, objective way on the spot, or we can really mull the general idea of this and thereby prepare ourselves so that we can accept difficulties with that more objective wisdom. And the more we can do the latter, the more we can prepare ourselves by means of analytical meditation, by means of contemplation, the more able we will be to tackle challenging situations. Now, I wanted to, there was something that we had discussed. We have been discussing here over the last few weeks the idea that to really understand our situation, to really develop a certain wisdom about the situation we find ourselves in, we have to accept the idea of karma. We have to accept the idea of our past actions being responsible for the situation that we find ourselves in. So in Tsongkhapa's Lamrim Chenmo, he says, thus, have conviction in the teachings of the Tathagata, the Buddha, and then sustain your meditation on them. If you do not have uncontrived certainty about this quality of truth in the Buddha's teachings, then you will not gain the certainty that will please the conqueror with regard to any of the teachings. This is what he's referring this to. Some who claim that they have acquired certain knowledge of emptiness are uncertain about karma and its effects and do not value it. This is a mistaken understanding of emptiness. For once you understand emptiness, you will see that it is the meaning of dependent arising, and it will assist you in becoming certain about karma and its effects. So, I'd love your thoughts on that. It's not there. This is from the Lamrim.
Can you read it once more?
Some who claim Volume 1. Some who claim that they have acquired certain knowledge of emptiness are uncertain about karma and its effects and do not value it. This is a mistaken understanding of emptiness. For once you understand emptiness, you will see that it is the meaning of dependent arising, and it will assist you in becoming certain about karma and its effects. So the whole idea is that an understanding of emptiness will bring about an understanding of and acceptance of karma and its effects.
Because there's no static reality, there's karma, because things affect other things. Whereas if that wasn't the case, you have a problem understanding karma. If you think of it at all. I mean, most people don't think that deep, so they go about their business.
The really important thing is that we can't simply say, due to emptiness, things arise dependently. We have to really realize, take that further to the point of accepting the fact that past actions are responsible for our present situation.
And the present plays into that, because everything's in motion, or make it simple. It's probably,
Can you possibly define the difference between cause and effect and karma? The definition, two different definitions. They seem to be very related.
Karma means action. So, you can say that an action creates an effect. The word karma, the word le, simply means action. When they say le dre, which means action and result, that's cause and effect. But when we refer to karma, we're talking about cause and effect. The word itself simply is referring to action, which is a cause.
But also with the addition of a mind, right?
No, I think that the word action, the word karma simply means action.
But an action would necessarily be something done
With intention or
with
no
an intention.
intention. Sometimes
So,
there's no intention.
yes, but that's not, yes. And we talk about 3 levels of action, or 3 kinds of actions of body, of speech, and of mind. And it is the action of mind which accompanies actions of body and speech that are what we have to really work at controlling.
But then in nature, we have cause and effect, which, as far as we know, is not connected with a mind.
So, when you say what happens in nature is not connected to a mind, is that what you said?
I did say that, but I would like to adjust that. So we're talking about the growth of plants, water causing a seed to sprout.
Mm-hmm.
Then that wouldn't involve a mind directly. It might be connected to a mind.
I heard from a geisha, I'm not gonna mention who, that said that even when a plant grows, that's karma of the plant. Even the plant carries karma. I don't know if that's debatable.
But karma is not something, when you say a plant carries karma, karma is action. It
So
is,
the plant growing would be the action, the
Yeah.
plant itself.
Right, is karma.
So
The
that
plant
makes
is karma.
no.
The
The
plant's
growing,
growth is karma.
the growing,
Right.
the action.
The result.
And
The
the
cause
action of growing.
is a result of a previous action.
Everything, right, is changing constantly. So everything is karma, constantly.
You say, Sean.
There's just non-stop action.
So when we say
Whether we're
everything,
growing
there
or
are
decaying.
permanent phenomena and there are impermanent phenomena. The impermanent phenomena are sort of stagnant, or they aren't momentarily changing the way the permanent phenomena are not changing. But the impermanent ones, yes, constantly. Changing in the sense, it's not even that, when we talk about this sort of physical change of phenomena, that's a very gross aspect of change. This book, this notebook, it exists in time, and each moment of existence is the cause of the next moment of existence of this book. So it's not even a question of that sort of thing of that it's disintegrating moment by moment. It's simply that each moment that the book of now and the book of now are 2 separate books, one of which is the cause and the other the effect of in that sort of stream of moments.
And that's different from the way
Okay.
people see things. They don't see the book of now, the book of now, the book of now.
No, yeah, they see book.
Yeah.
But that's a far more, that's like a conceptual quality of impermanence rather than a sort of physical. But that conceptual quality of impermanence is what causes all change. So the conceptual is directly relatable to the physical. I mean, the movement of all huge mountains, for example, are created by momentary changes.
Like subtle impermanence,
Yeah, so
leading
it's-
to gross impermanence. Yeah.
Exactly.
Excuse me, which section are you reading from in volume 1? It is volume 1, right?
this is volume 1.
I'm just trying to find it, but the pagination won't be the same.
Cultivating ethical behavior, chapter 15.
Okay, thank you.
Very much towards the front of chapter 15.
Okay, thank you.
And it just popped out as something to I'm going to reread it. Some who claim that they have acquired certain knowledge of emptiness are uncertain about karma and its effects and do not value it. So it's not that they hear what's being suggested is an uncertainty that sort of puts it aside. This is mistake, and remember that this is related to ethics, so it's really related to the importance of assuming responsibility for our actions. And so if we understand emptiness, if we have some insight into emptiness, but deny or do not focus upon its application to cause and effect and to our ethical behavior, that's wrong.
How is emptiness connected with cause and effect?
Yeah.
As I think you said, it is due to phenomena being empty of any inherent existence that causation is possible and exists.
Wait, say that one more time.
It's so emptiness is the emptiness of inherent existence.
Right.
And what is emptiness? What Tsongkhapa really establishes is that emptiness, its true meaning is dependent arising. It's not emptiness in the sense of nothingness. It's emptiness in the sense of possibility.
That everything is made of everything. Or that
No.
nothing inherently exists.
The fact
Related
that nothing inherently
Exists,
exists
right.
means that all existence is dependently arising.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Understood. Okay.
And that should lead one to a recognition of the laws of causality, the laws of karma.
So that also, before you were talking about when we see a situation, I mean, to me, that suggests something where very specific causes lead to very specific effects, which gives some sense of a definite aspect being there. But then in our lives, when we're struggling with something, we, by means of reflecting on emptiness, we're meant to not see it as something definite. So then, how might that apply here? Or how might that loosen, how can we use that contemplation to loosen if we're seeing something in a very definite way?
So when you talk about definite, when you know the quotation that I began with this evening, which was, our own actions are only one factor in a great range of causes and conditions. Similarly, there are many sides to any situation. Does that?
Yes. So it's
So
just
it-
that we're sort of seeing things with too few reference points.
Right, layers. Yeah. It's like too mono-dimensional or something.
Yes, and the more I mean, we were talking last week about how, you know, if we have caused a problem, if we've caused someone to suffer, if we are experiencing the result of some past action of ours,
Right.
we caused the situation. We are responsible for someone harming us. We actually engaged in some non-virtue in the past that causes someone to harm us now.
Yeah.
Therefore, sorry?
And yeah, good, you're gonna reap the results of them now harming us now.
And they're going to reap negative karma as a result of their retaliating, as it were, karmically.
They will have compassion for those who harm you. Really? That's not fair.
So
How did it happen?
the intricate nature, the web of causes and effects that are responsible for whatever situation. If we accept that, and if we see that as the sort of dance of causation, the dance of dependent arising, an understanding of that is an understanding of emptiness. An understanding of emptiness is an understanding of that.
Right.
I like it. Yeah.
One and the same.
Yeah. Or let's say it's the different side of the
Of
same coin.
yeah.
Part of that, excuse me, part of that quote, does it say emptiness is dependent arising?
Is the meaning.
Is the meaning of dependent arising? So dependent arising and emptiness are
Synonymous.
Qualified.
intertwined.
Yeah.
Qualified to
Intertwined.
use the equal sign.
And that particular relationship of emptiness and dependent arising is something that, following Nagarjuna and Chandrakirti, Tsongkhapa really presents. He explains that the real meaning of emptiness is dependent arising. The real meaning of dependent arising is emptiness of inherent existence.
Famous poem. That's,
When he realized that, he wrote
nuts, yeah.
in praise of dependent arising.
He bought real estate. No. You look. That's your favorite prayer. The one that you like. Emptiness. Shem likes to argue that point, by the way. You know that.
So, to make that, if we really sit and think about dependent arising in all its intricacies, that in itself will make any notion of independent existence evaporate. It won't have any basis. And if we apply that to our lives and to our situation,
Yeah.
If nothing else, it takes away the why me when something happens to you. Well,
or let's say
even at
that
my level, you know.
we can say that the why me is the cause of all the suffering that we experience as a result of the dynamic of
We don't see reality, I guess. Would not like to see reality. I don't want to think that I caused these things. Maybe we should protest. I don't know. But Sham makes it complicated. He throws me off the... No? He does. Hello? Where's the cat?
Catford.
Eugene. Raskolnikov. Let's reach it.
How might it be possible for us to think that emptiness and dependent arising are different things?
Ask him.
That's a good question.
He kept on that point.
Say it again. How?
So the Lama Tsongkhapa is saying that the goal is to have those things be viewed as two sides of the same coin. So then it's good to know how, in what way we can go wrong and think that they're different.
So we have to really consider what dependent arising is. What is dependent arising? How are things dependent on?
They're dependent in terms of causes and conditions, in terms of wholes and parts,
Phenomenon.
and in terms of labels or designations.
So to understand the cause and conditions, that phenomena are, especially impermanent phenomena, are caused. And you can say that permanent phenomena have to be realized by a consciousness, and therefore there is a causal nature to our experience of those permanent phenomena. Then there are the second category would be the parts and the whole. Many would stop there and not go to the most subtle aspect that Tsongkhapa is presenting, which is that phenomena merely exist by naming or labeling.
Designation. That is difficult.
Because it is only that last aspect that removes any quality of inherent existence in the object being perceived.
With the other two levels, there's some possibility.
There can be, yeah.
Right, like the name strips it of its parts, in a way. If I call it a table, it's harder to see that maybe the table has parts. But if I said
Well,
top
that there
with
is
legs,
no-
metal,
There is no objectively existent table.
right,
The table exists merely
just a
because
name,
you give it,
because we
you
agreed
call
on
it that, yeah.
right.
So that would, saying that there is absolutely not even inherent existence in the object being viewed is unique to the Prasangika view. Even the Svatantrikas would say that on the conventional level there has to be some quality of inherent existence. There won't be true existence. They make a distinction between true and inherent. And the Prasangika say true and inherent are one and the same. There's no, you can't differentiate. You've missed the point. So the only quality of existence is imputed upon. It's labeled, it's designated. Anyway, all of this thought, all of this process of thinking, as I say, applied to the situation of life, will dissemble. Do you have to say disassemble?
Disassemble,
Breaks it down. Pulls it apart,
the situation and remove the very sort of subjective way in which we experience the challenges that we face. And
Wouldn't it be objective ways that we experience?
we think of ourselves as right there in the middle of it. Me. And if we can remain objective about it all and see all the little parts,
And see us as
see
part
it
of those
however you...
parts. We're not separate. The unity, the nature of reality, the abiding nature of reality.
Well,
So,
then you're saying we have to see ourselves as a function of those parts.
could say that. Function.
Yes.
Tricky, it's very tricky.
Well, yes, but if we sit and think about it, we can have some kind of an idea of it, and that helps diminish that sort of investing of the sense of me into, let's say, being treated not nicely, unjustly, whatever.
Alienating yourself, it looks like, when you don't think the right way, which I don't do, but it's tough, like that psychological hole you put yourself in, you're always gonna be tense. Looking at things, this and that, and, I mean, easy to talk about, but hard to live.
Yes, but if we do a little bit of thinking
I
about
know,
it,
you're right,
It goes
it's
a long
totally right. A lot of thinking, Nikki, not for me.
no, but I mean, if we just at the beginning
you're
of our
right.
day, just and even what we're doing now is helps.
It's a nice place to do it in.
So I wanted to bring Tsongkhap's because we have discussed the fact that it's important, if we are going to get into this deeply, it's important to accept the idea of karma. And if we accept the acceptance of the idea of karma is an acceptance of past lives. I mean, if we are actually going to assume responsibility for the situations we find ourselves in, which includes the political climate that we presently find ourselves in, all of these things are the result of my own past actions. And we can't limit past actions to just this life. We can't consider that the causal process that brings about the situation that we're experiencing in all its complexity could have begun at birth. And I say this, it would be easy to say, all right, let's limit this to our actions in this life. No, I really think that if we are going to assume responsibility for our situation now, we have to go back further.
Ancient Rome? I blame ancient Rome.
No, you can't blame ancient Rome. You can blame your actions.
Blame the parents.
Blame your actions. And if you happen to live in Rome 2,000 years ago,
In the empire.
then your actions
And they
at
didn't
that
have
time.
tomatoes then, so.
And no rice. No pasta. Right? No pasta.
Chinese have.
Marco Polo brought it over whenever he.
Who?
Marco Polo.
Marco Polo, yes, that.
So maybe we should, when we do something less than stellar, apologize to our future selves.
I'm causing you a lot of trouble.
Instead of thinking about,
That's the best.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry in advance.
Watch out, it's coming.
That's gonna be a doozy.
But in a sense, we should do that. In other words, once we've
Yes.
done something wrong, the whole process of confession is to say, I did it, and it is that thought process that diffuses.
mm-hmm.
They say that it may not eliminate it totally, but it'll lessen the effect, sometimes they say, about confessing different things. I'm all for that.
Yes.
I've heard it said, this may not be true, that you can borrow from your future karma to make an offering, for
Wait a
example,
minute.
here. Like, if you want, for a long life or whatever, or, when I want to borrow from
We love doing that.
I wouldn't dare do that. But to what extent can we fool around with our future karma?
So there are lawyers. They're very fine lawyers.
Very good. It's gonna
I
cost.
want to borrow that money from karma.
And,
Credit, line of credit.
in Rome, you
Maybe
can
Roger
pay.
KHENSURE is qualified.
You used to be able to pay for your sins, remember?
So
Not something-
when we joke about, paying for your sins, in a sense, if you were to really, really regret what you had done, and if out of that regret you really wish to be generous
Yes.
to others, I'm sure that would greatly diminish your the weight of.
Okay.
So I don't think that's borrowing from the future.
Have you ever heard of this? Borrowing from the future karma? No, I know of a woman who wrote a letter to His Holiness and said that she wanted to borrow from her future karma and the Buddha that she would become to extend her very best wishes and prayers for his long life. And she got a nice answer back.
Which was?
It was, I don't know, I do not know the details. It was short, of course, but, yeah.
This sounds like dedication.
But is dedication the borrowing of future
No.
karma?
No,
Well, the idea sounds crazy to me.
you're creating cooperative conditions for it to ripen a certain way. I mean,
Smells like
it is
Bitcoin.
manipulating future karma.
Yeah, oh yes, but that's what
No, no,
the practice of Dharma
voice
is.
from beyond.
So borrowing from. So I think that we can consider that if we are to borrow from the future, if we waste, then in a sense we're taking from
Right.
our future happiness or our future wealth or whatever. And I think we all do that to such an extent that it's very. I shouldn't go there.
It's like a line of credit or something.
Like a lot of credit.
And
Right.
we
Well,
are.
Husky is
If you
about
don't
it.
pay your credit, if you don't pay your bill, it'll
You're
be
gonna-
waiting for you.
So I think in that sense you can think of.
Unconfessed, it keeps building, right? Something like that, whatever you
Right, yeah,
So you're
interest.
sort of running
It's
a-
called interest.
do. You're running a tab.
And the percentages, they go up.
Oh,
They but the good news is that if you engage in virtue, they also grow.
Amplified.
It's like making sure of your past good deeds.
Doesn't Tsongkhapa give that as an example of how karma works? Is it's more like debt that accumulates interest over time?
I haven't heard those terms used, but that's what it is. Yeah. I don't think that's limited to Tsongkhapa. That's the idea of.
I think it's an illuminating the intent.
Can I ask about the necessity of past lives?
The necessity of there being.
I think you said that if we are to accept karma, or as our current experience being the result of past actions, that we couldn't limit it to this one life.
The situation that we are experiencing here is of such a complexity, and there's such a series of past actions that will have brought about all that you experience, all that you are experiencing, that it's not as if that process, there's no way that what you are experiencing as opposed to what you are experiencing would be as a result of a series of actions within the whatever amount of years that you've been born.
But to the extent that we are an effect of our parents, who they themselves are effects of many, going back, and they're effects of their parents, those are past lives, but not necessarily, so that could be apply to the reasoning you just gave, but it doesn't,
So
but in that case.
those all contribute to the package. All of that contributes to, their past karmas and your intertwined karmas contribute to, where you are born and the atmosphere within the home within which you were raised and all that kind of stuff.
Couldn't that be enough in terms of accounting for the complexity?
You think about it. Do you think it's enough?
Well, it's almost, to me, it's comparing infinity to infinity, sort of.
So maybe we can add infinity upon infinity in order to make it really work.
This
You
is
need
another
the-
of Sham's topics.
Stay away from it.
I think you need the two.
Well, I think of it as, it's not just the complexity, it's just like, if you think about something really horrific happening, like a 6-month-old baby who dies in a plane crash, it couldn't possibly have created enough bad karma to cause something like that. It has
In
to
this
be
life.
in this life.
So you have to
It's
count
like
for
6 months isn't enough time,
Right.
and what can a baby do in 6 months? Like,
I mean, I completely agree, but I think some people who don't believe in past lives might offer this argument, which is the baby had created the cause of being born to those parents.
And how did the baby create the cause to be born to those parents?
Or, I mean, the baby was the effect of those parents.
Ah.
I think there are two
Right, so
different
you're
issues
feeling like
that are
only
being.
one generation could be the cause of each thing, not like past lives, but the parents are the cause of everything, all of your effects.
and the karma
Well, in
doesn't
some
come
way,
from the
parents could also be called
Yeah.
past lives.
Yeah.
It's not a single
Well,
conscious.
I think there are
Life of it.
two issues here that are should be kept separate but are being put together. So the way I understand it is that the argument for past lives is in terms of the continuity of the mind, right? So like as you go back, mind moments, you get to the first moment of this life. What was that moment caused by? By process of elimination, it has to be caused by another moment of mind, which we are not going. I understand that that's controversial. I'm not just, let's accept that. Then the argument works, right? So then there has to be, these moments, this continuum of moments cannot be random. Like those moments have to have some sort of causal evolution to them. They can't just be a random collection of unrelated moments. And so that first moment of mind of this life has to have been caused by something that must have been in this continuum from the past. So it's different from how the causal structure of our objective reality operates, right? So like let's if you take the way I understand it, and please correct me if I'm understanding not correctly, and I would really like to be corrected because I think this is really important. But like, okay, so in that example of the baby that dies in the plane crash, right? Karma would be what would explain, so like the causes of the plane crash and all of that, those are all objective within our world, and many of them don't seem to have any immediate relationship to that baby. But what karma would explain is why did that mental continuum end up in that particular body that ended up dying in that particular plane crash?
That's exactly, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
It's kind of like
yes,
the question
very
is
much.
why me?
Yeah.
It's not so much why did the plane crash happen, but why did the plane crash happen to me?
Yeah.
And it's because the answer to that is because of my past actions. I was born in the body which died in the plane.
That should
That's
be a
how I
relief, if
understand
you
it.
really understand it, right?
Yeah, but maybe the baby had finished all his karma and died
that was it.
and
I mean,
went
I'm
on
just
to
saying-
highest
That
liberation.
wasn't my
Well, I'm
belief.
saying, but I mean, sure, maybe, I don't know, we have no way of knowing any of that.
Confusing
But
karma.
I'm just saying that like the mechanics of how this works, that like this the word they use for it is that the objective world is causally closed. So, I mean, that's controversial.
Very.
It's a whole thing, but like, it still doesn't explain
The
how the
objective,
mental
yeah.
continuum ended up in that. Yeah, anyway.
So within that progression of that little child who was born as a result of his or her a series of moments of consciousness that precedes that moment of conception, birth, along with that come the what do they call the predispositions, the sort of package of karma that accompanies a mind stream moment by moment by moment by moment, and we experience what we deserve to experience as the mind stream within its physical incarnation deserves. And we have at each moment the ability to exert a certain amount of
Right.
effort so that our future is really in our hands.
Our eventual future, right? I mean, most of the things that are gonna happen to us in this life are probably already.
If we sit and think about these things and determine to develop a sort of, let's say, more patient attitude towards situations,
That's
the people around us will immediately start smiling, and we will be happier, and they will be happier. I mean, from one moment to the next, we can bring about change.
Absolutely, yes, that's absolutely true. I mean, what I'm
No
saying is,
hope.
like, I mean, you can't, I don't know, cure cancer this way or something, right? Like, once something physical happens, like, not all karma is reversible this way.
Right.
That is going to ripen to us in this life.
But you could.
But there are exceptions. There are people who are diagnosed with terminal cancer who get better.
Yes, of course, I'm just saying
There
that,
are.
yes, but
Most of them.
I'm just saying that most of the effects of this, most of the benefit of this comes in future lives, realistically, probably, right?
Yes, but I don't think that we should go. I don't think that we should work on ourselves. The actual practical contemplations that we've discussed this evening will actually bear fruit immediately.
Right.
Yes,
Uh,
I agree.
Your
I agree.
current actions and what
I'm gonna
you did
stop.
in the presence of someone else could somehow affect someone to then create the cure for cancer.
Everything's at play.
Everything's at play.
Yeah.
If for some reason a doctor was in the room that was in a grumpy mood, but then someone
Well,
smiled,
anything is
got them
possible.
on the right side, and then they
Mhm.
went to work that day, you know, with some pep in their step and had a good day and had a revelation. It's like things could, you know.
Pep in their step.
Always look at
You
the
can
bright
quote
side
me.
of life.
Yeah, that's what we need. But everything's moment to moment.
Want to
Yeah.
be careful with saying this is karma that we deserve, though, wouldn't we?
But it's not a matter of deserving,
Right.
it's just, this is the karma that
Cause
we
and effect.
created.
Because we don't want to say
Has
the
nothing
baby.
to do with deserve it,
Right.
right? People deserve to be happy, not deserve not to be suffering, but if we suffer, it's
But
because
that's
we have created something in the past. It's just no
Yeah.
getting around
That's
it.
like the karma
Doesn't mean that
explains
you
and doesn't judge
deserve to
the-
suffer this, it's just, this is what it is.
So we're the victim of our own afflictive emotions.
Mhm.
That's how this is created, right?
But
You're
it
playing
seems
the
that
hand you dealt yourself.
it seems like to say that the baby, it's like it's almost like the consciousness, not the baby, seemingly, right?
The consciousness what?
the baby's consciousness is the thing that's carrying the karma, not the baby itself.
No, that is on
So
the
to say that
legs.
the baby deserves
Oh,
something,
no, I don't know.
right, it doesn't make, that seems to be maybe
So-
misguided.
I think it's very important that we not judge babies, or that we really work at not judging anyone but ourselves.
Of course.
All of this is to be applied to,
If I was to say my karma, that's my consciousness that's been going for eons. It's not what we see as me, it's my consciousness and the karma that.
no, but you can take responsibility.
Of course, but I'm saying that consciousness will go to my next lives and it won't look like what you see here. Right,
Yeah, it may look like,
right, could be anything.
Depends on the perception of who's looking. If we get into that,
yes.
that'll never end.
So,
James?
Did His Holiness's brother overlook this?
yes,
Yellow
yellow tundu,
tundu.
we can remember yellow tundu in our prayers. So we read the Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate
To the omniscient one,
thus
thus the Buddha Bhagavat Tathagata Arhat Samyak Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world,
the
charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one,
the
teacher
teacher
of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat.
the
The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit.
He is
He's
adorned with
adorned
the minor marks.
He
He
blossoms with the flowers of the major marks.
His
His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him he is without disharmony.
He
He
brings
brings
true
true
joy
joy to those who long with faith.
faith.
His knowledge cannot be overpowered.
His
His
strength cannot be challenged.
He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of Nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He is not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats, who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma which is taught by the Bhagavat is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy. It puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of great jnana, they enter completely. They enter insightfully. They enter straightforwardly. They enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joint palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector possesses great kindness.
the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata, pure the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. Verses for training the mind. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings, who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering among others. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. Prayer for the swift return of true leadership. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the wandering saffron robes, Guru of Zam. Please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast ways of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the victor of Zam's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that already of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existence is end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel. Return as the glory of Losang Tenbei. Magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Pramayana, and Srimati Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moon-like face.
Thank you, Vijay.
So
Thanks.
this Saturday, there will be no meeting here. Next Monday in New York City, 151 West 30th Street, 3rd floor.